What's up, y'all? AJ Simmons checking in for another great interview for you guys. Today's guest started off with the cleaning franchise, but quickly realized that wasn't a route for him, so he decided to join the TA Clean Biz Network. And within his first 8 months, he was doing about $6,200 a month. And I noticed because we interviewed this guy back in December 2019. So welcome back, please, Mr. Market Crockett. What's up, Market?
Headed to the top, there ain't none of y'all stopping me. Used to say I never get a ring, Charles Barkley. Now I got a wife, got kids, own property. Bubble-eyed beans that look like that be watching me. Okay, I lied about the beans, but that was hard though. I'm still in that black act, but she starred though. Cause that's all it takes. Don't flash it for. I'm on my grind, not no motherfucking fashion show.
Hey, Mr. AJ Simmons, man, I appreciate you having me, man. It's good to see you.
Absolutely, man. I was struggling trying to, because I'm usually freestyling, right? I was struggling trying to memorize that little intro I typed up. But anyway,
Yeah, it's all good.
Good, man. But yeah, man. So go ahead and remind us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, your background, that type of stuff.
Yeah. So again, my name is Marcus Crockett. I'm from Tacoma, Washington, in Washington State. I've been in business for a little bit. I started off in a franchise in 2015. Shortly after, I think it was 2018, 2019, I joined CBN and I saw my revenue quickly take off, and it hasn't stopped since. So.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Now, speaking of revenue, let's just go ahead and cut to the chase, right? So last time we spoke to you, like I said, it was December 2019. Today, what is it? May 2021, the end of May. So could you share with us what the revenue is today?
Yeah, before we were doing 6,400, 6,800, something like that per month. Now we're doing around 23,500 a month.
Wow, man, that's all independent. That's all after leaving the franchise. And I want to point that out because I know a lot of my fellow franchise owners, I say fellow because I used to be one, right? And I was scared to leave it, right? And so a lot of us unit franchise owners, we're scared to leave because we think that's all we got. But Mr. Crockett here is proof that that's not all you got, all right? So shout out to Marcus again, even though you're right here. Shout out to you, man, for making that jump and just doing an amazing job, man, for sure.
No doubt.
Absolutely. So, again, you started way back in 2015, 2016. You fought through and you built up. Here we are, 2021. So you had to go through COVID. How did that affect
you? For anybody who's listening, or regardless as to what industry you're in, whenever any market you're in starts to squeeze or to get tight with the money, when people start to contract on their marketing, when people start to contract on their sales, make no mistake, you're everyone's opponent. When people start to pull back is when you want to go full forward. You want to put as much money as you can into your marketing. You want to put as much money as you can into your processes, into your procedures. So that way, even though that there's even though that the market is constricting, there's still clients out there to be had. And if you're continuing to grow while your competition is pulling back, that's just going to separate you from the pack, not only during the time of the market contraction, but also after the fact. So during COVID, lots of businesses were closing down. Lots of cleaning companies in our area, they were pulling back. They didn't have the processes in place that we didn't know COVID was going to happen, but we had processes in place to keep the ball moving. I just had to keep putting money into it, keep feeding the beast, right? And because of that, COVID has been a blessing for us. It really has.
Wow. So you say it's been a blessing. So could you kind of go a little bit more in detail on how exactly it was a blessing for you?
Yeah. So, when it happened, I was in a position where, I'm already going to a major distributor to get all of our cleaning supplies, and we have a pretty good relationship. But I don't know if people will remember, but the first one of the first cases was here in Seattle, and the guy who I get all of my supplies from, he was telling me, he said, I know you come in here, you usually buy 10, 11 boxes of gloves and this and that. He said, but double it, triple it, whatever you have. If you have the money to buy more things, you need to go ahead and buy it. And it kind of threw me off a little bit because it's still brand new, right? Nothing had been shut down. It's just this one person who's sick, and he pretty much, he wouldn't let me leave out of the store without buying more than what I intended to buy, which was a good thing, because 2 or 3 weeks later, after everything did shut down, most of the things were shutting down, I was able to go in and educate some of my existing clients who did in fact stay open. Like a lot of people, they really don't know the difference between, say, your simple processes, sanitation versus disinfection. They didn't know that. And me, us being in position to have, that simple knowledge, as well as an abundance of cleaning supplies when people weren't able to get, hand sanitizer or Clorox wipes. We had already had an abundance of it because, the distributor who we were getting it from had us collect so much of it. So when I would go in and I would do follow-ups with potentially new clients or existing clients who didn't close their doors, I'm able to tell them, like, hey, if you want to sanitize something, that, that's going to be fine, but just know that your sanitation is it's only going to do what the label says, and that only attacks the bacteria. If you want to come in and disinfect, the disinfection is going to kill the bacteria along with the viruses that are on the actual label. Just that simple information, they weren't aware of that. And then you put that on top of just going around some of the existing clients and having them tell us, some of their, I'm sorry, not the existing, but some of the clients that we would do walkthroughs for, have them telling us some of the issues that they were having, the reason why we're there in the first place. That little bit of information pointing out, well, I can guarantee you that if that picture frame is dusty, there's other things in here that are dusty. And if those things are dusty, your place isn't being sanitized and it's not being disinfected. And sure, it's not being because it's not clean. And because I was able to have such an abundance of supplies during the outbreak of COVID, kept us moving. It allowed us to be able to still operate and be in the businesses and be in front of decision makers to even give them the information, which then put us in position to acquire more clients. So when I say COVID it's unfortunate, but for us, it was a blessing. And that's just cleaning. That didn't have anything to do with the electrostatic spraying and some of the fogging and stuff. That was amazing. Wow. It really was a blessing for us.
You know what, man, and hopefully I'm gonna try not to go too far on a tangent here, but that's just a huge point, because I remember I was listening to some Robert Kiyosaki book or lecture or something, but he was saying the best way to find opportunities is to simply be in business, right? And that's a prime example, because I'm gonna tell you, the same way you got a heads up from your supplier, I got one too from a couple different suppliers, because I just, luckily for me at that time, I happened to be local back at home in Virginia, and so I was going to my local supplier there. They told me and gave me a heads up on a shortage that was coming. And then also the guys I use online for my starter kit, they gave me a heads up as well. So it was like, you know what I mean? Just the fact that I was in business let us know a heads up. And then also you even look at things like how, the average American worker got stimulus check. Well, if you were in business, you got PPP loans, which were forgivable, and is way bigger than a stimulus check, right? So just being in business sometimes is the greatest opportunity that you could possibly put yourself in. So just wanted to point that out. That was a great point by you there. So another thing I want to ask you about, right? So right now everybody's complaining about, not being able to find workers because of unemployment and all of this, right? And I know that that's definitely probably a real struggle for sure. So you kind of touch on how it's affecting you, and then also what you're doing to basically navigate through that.
I mean, it's really, it's a huge thing right now. A lot of people, can't find quality workers. We went through a period for a good month where it was slim pickings out there, man. We couldn't find nobody who will come to work, and when they would come, like they really wouldn't do a good job. So it's like when we hire someone, we're spending this time training, and then for them to, you know, for them they just leave or they wouldn't work out, or so it was really, really tough. I've had clients that we service call us to see if we know anyone that's hiring, and you know that was probably like the strangest thing. Like, you know, or I'm sorry, call us to see if we knew anyone who were looking for a job, because they need people. They're looking to hire people, and I just thought, you know, so everyone's getting hit with it right now. Some of the things that that we do, because I've tried Indeed, I've tried Craigslist. Those outlets really don't work for us. I'm not saying they haven't worked for other people or they don't work for other people, but for I will be honest, like I'm really good at sales, and I'm really good at going out and talking to customers, but I'm not the best when it comes to managing employees. Like I can look and evaluate and see if you're going to work out really quick, but when it comes to the day-to-day management, like my wife she's the best at that, man. Like there's no way I could compete with her in that. But I'm only saying that to say that, you know, Indeed, those other outlets, they don't work for us. The best outlet that we found to hire employees has always been through Facebook. And we'll go to Facebook in some of the groups. Like if you're in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm down in Florida. Yep.
Okay, so let's just say like Miami. You go on and you look for jobs, or I forget the way how exactly she does it, but she goes on, she'll type in the city, and then she'll join these groups, and then she'll post the flyers, or I have one of my virtual assistants post a flyer in these specific groups throughout our demographic or throughout our region, and that has been the best way for us to find employees. But even that way, like since COVID and all the stimulus and the unemployment and everything, like even that has been really hard. But you know, like I said, like luckily we are now in a position where we're fully staffed up, and the ball's still moving. But it was rough, man. It was rough for a while.
Absolutely. That's what's up, man. So now I gotta ask you this, because you basically more than tripled your business last time we talked. So I gotta ask you, because I know back then you got your first client from us at the Clean Biz Network Lead Generation Service. After that, you ended up buying the master class that we had then. Now it's the in-house lead generation course, but you got that and hired your own call, so you skip the middleman here. And so you've been doing that route. But despite all of that, what now and since then has been your number one way for getting clients?
You know what, to be honest with you, it's still, I would say the number one way is still through our callers. But you know, since we've grown so much, I invested a lot of money into redoing some of the behind the scenes stuff on our website, as far as our search engine optimization. Google My Business is really big. That helps out so much, because clients can, once they Google you, I mean, you're going to be right there. And then if you have callers that are calling, then that puts it in the, oh, I heard of those guys. And then they may look up something else, and then you're right near the top with your search engine optimization. So callers is still good, but it's a system. It's a machine. You know, the callers we got working for us, Google My Business, search engine optimization, word of mouth. You know, however, I don't care how they find it. Somebody reached out to my wife through her personal Facebook, like, hey, I heard that you guys have a cleaning company, and could you come give us a quote? Yep, we sure will. I don't know how they found us. I don't know, but you know, we put the machine in place and keep it oiled, keep it fed, and let it do its thing.
Absolutely. And it's crazy that you brought that up, because so many people ask me, right, they'll be like, well, should I pay for advertising? And I'm like, well, if you're going to do ads for commercial, I probably would do Google ads, but honestly, you don't really need it. To me, as long as you're on Google My Business. And a lot of people overlook that. I don't even know how Google is allowing that for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People just do not use Google My Business for some reason. But if you're not up there, get yourself on there. And if you already in Clean Biz Network, you're not up there, you should be ashamed of yourself, because right inside the starter kit.
Man, that's been. Oh, and also too, shout out to Rube, man, because Rube put me on with the email campaign. So I got one of my virtual assistants. That's all she does. She sends out, she's running our whole email campaign department, and that's been real big. And Rue put me onto that, so shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to Rube Hogan, by the way, another CVM member. I'm bringing him on next too, but because I still need to apply that too, because I remember I was on that call and he brought that up, and I still got to apply that. So I appreciate you for reminding me of that too. That's something I have to do for sure. But one thing I was going to ask you too, man. So you said you're good at sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what can you share some walkthrough tips for what you do, like during your walkthrough to help close the deal?
Yeah. So for walkthroughs, first of all, like when you show up to your walkthrough, you want to be, you want to look nice, and you know, you want to, obviously you want to be clean, you want to be dressed. If you can wear a nice shirt and a tie, that always helps. It's never going to hurt. But when you meet the person, when you meet the receptionist, usually, depending on where you're going, the receptionist is just the gatekeeper. That's not the person who makes the decision. I know sometimes in some of the doctor's offices that we have, it'll be the main doctor's wife, whoever owns the practice, that wife. Sometimes that person is the reception, but that doesn't matter. But when you get there, make sure you look good, make sure you're nice, you're presentable, and you let them know who you are, who you're there to see. 9 times out of 10, that person is going to say, okay, they're going to either pick up the phone and call that person, or they're going to leave from the desk and they're going to go get it. Now, if they leave, that gives you a little bit more time. You are looking, what I'm doing is I'm looking in the corners to see if I can spot any cobwebs. I'm looking on the ground in the corners of the floor to see if there's any buildup of dirt or any debris that I can readily see. If there's a picture frame, if there's something hanging on the wall that's close by, I'm going to run my finger by it real quick. Now, usually, if they're calling you, obviously, if you're calling them and they're setting up an appointment, it's for a reason. So many times I'll go and I'll do walkthroughs, and there will be dust or there'll be a buildup on the picture frame. Now, when I see it as the secretary's leaving or she's coming back to show me the person, if I see it, if I run my finger across and I see there's dirt, I won't say anything. I won't say anything at all. I'll wait. I'll meet the person. You know, now that in sales is kind of a weird time because we can't shake hands, but the person come out, we're friendly, we meet, and they don't really know how to do this because their business is whatever. So if it's a dental office, they're in the business of cleaning teeth. So you're the expert. So they're coming to you to ask you, hey, so what do we do? And that's when I'll tell them, hey, well, why don't you go ahead and let's just walk around. Show me some of the, show me the office. Now, as we're walking, you know, and they're telling what needs to be done. And we already know that whatever office you're in, you're going to be doing the trash, you're going to be cleaning the flat countertops, the bathrooms, etc. So as they're telling me those things, I'm listening to them, and I'm just taking it in. I'm not interrupting. I'm not doing anything. Once there's a break, I'll say, hey, you know, I've seen a few things, but I want to hear, like, you know, what's your biggest concern? Like, what's your biggest issue with the company now? Usually going to say, well, they're just not cleaning. Now that is when you'll reach up to the picture frame and you'll rub your finger across a new picture frame, right? Because if the one in the lobby was dirty, the chances are the rest of them are dirty. You rub your finger across the picture frame, you look at it, show them on your finger, say, you know what? I know exactly what you mean. If this place is dusty like this, I guarantee you that it's not being sanitized and it's not being disinfected because it's not clean. And in this day and age, with everything going on in the world right now, you can't afford to have your staff or your patrons, you know, possibly contract, you know, a cold, a flu, or whatever from coming into this building. Your company deserves a company to come in and provide you with the service that you're paying for. And no one's going to disagree with that. No one's going to be like, no, we don't deserve that. Of course, they're paying a company to come clean their place. And if it's not getting clean, no one's going to disagree with it. So once that's already been set in stone, or once that's already been established, that you listen to them, you understand their concern, and then you provide them with solutions on how to fix the issue that they're having, the next thing I'll ask is, you know, I know for sure that my company can come in here and we can turn this place around, like without a shadow of a doubt, and you'll notice it immediately. Um, my next thing is, and I hate to ask, but I have to, just because I don't want to make things uncomfortable for you guys, but also I want to make sure that we are providing you the service that you want, that's within your reach. So can I ask, what is your budget for the company that you're paying right now? Usually they may not know. Sometimes you know, I would say it's half and half. They may not know right off the top, but they're good. They can go get it. They can find out really quick what they're paying. If they have to leave and they have to go find out, I'm looking for another way to make short talk. If I see a picture of, you know, Kobe Bryant on the wall, or if I see a picture, oh, hey, you guys like basketball? While we're going, yeah, you know, my husband is into this or that, or yeah, I used to play high school, or whatever the case is, right? I'm lightening the mood. While they're getting me those numbers, they're telling me the numbers. I'm already evaluating how long is it going to take 2 of my staff to come in here and clean this place. So once they tell me the numbers, I'll say, hey, you know that's a really comfortable number, or I'm going to say, you know, I'm going to do my best to stay within your budget, but you know, it could go either way. I'll go back to the office, I'll put the numbers in, and you know, I'll send you an email, I'll get back to you. But that only comes from just doing it so much. And you always want to point out too, you know, after you rub your finger across and you see the dust, you always want to point out, yeah, we want to make sure that when we come in here, you guys won't see any of that dust. And we're also going to make sure that we clean all of the high touch points. For whatever reason, that word, like high touch points, it I don't know, their eyes kind of light up a little bit. You start naming them off, you know, you know, the doorknob, the telephone, all of your light switches, the bathroom, you know, just all of the things that people frequently touch. And then you let them know why you're doing that. We close a lot of accounts that we go see. Like I probably close about six to 7 out of 10. So I'm shooting about 60-70% from the line, man. It could be better, but you know.
They say you out there putting them curries. Hey, you know what? First, let me say this. If you watching this right now, you can thank me right now. Go ahead and type in the comments, thank you, because Marcus just gave y'all a master class on how to perform a walkthrough. He ain't need no visual or anything. He explained that so well. And that's just, man, it really just fact, like the way you just explained it is exactly how every walkthrough I ever been goes on, except I don't even think I handle it that smooth, right? So that is huge, man. So I appreciate those tips right there. Now, and also real quick, let me shout out my guy Mauricio, because he was the guy who trained me when I became an ops manager over at that other company, franchise company, right? And but he did a great job at training me. And one of the things that he taught me when I first got hired, because I was a timid guy, a former unit franchise owner, and I'm thinking, you know, people are above me. And he told me straight, he said, listen, you're the professional. You have to tell them how things go. And just like you just said, when you get there for the walkthrough, you know, the dentist is the dentist, right? You know, these people don't know what they're doing. So they're coming to you, all right, well, I mean, what we're gonna do? And so you gotta invite yourself. All right, well, keep going and show me around. So it's up to you to be the professional and lead the way. Huge. Y'all thank Marcus Crockett for that, because that's the type of stuff that typically we discuss in Clean Biz Network, and he put it out here for y'all. So appreciate that, man. So
my bad. Okay.
no, you good. That's perfect. That's what the interview's for. And anybody will tell you, like, the most value, like, especially, well, the people that's already in business, right? My stuff is for mindset, motivation, like my regular videos, but these interviews is what everybody get the chance from. So again, just appreciate it. All you did was make this a class. That's all. So, but let's rewind a little bit. So again, I said that you were a franchise owner, you know, years ago. You started there. Can you talk about the mindset transition that it took for you? Because I know when you first lead that franchise, like I was saying, you scared. You think that when most people are, maybe you weren't. You talk about it, but most people scared. They feel like, well, I don't got the big corporate backing behind me no more. I don't got the guys in the suit with me. It's all on me. What was that mindset transition like for you when you went from franchise to independent?
You know what? To be honest with you, AJ, like when I was in the franchise and that was my only source of income, I remember talking to the franchise owner, and I'm like, listen, man, like I'm getting charged all of these fees, and you know what? I feel like I'm paying to have a job. Like I'm paying you to have a job. And you know what he said? He looked at me straight in the face. I'll never forget. Looked me straight in the eye, and he shook his head. He said, "Yeah, it's kind of like that." I said, "Okay." I said, "This ain't the move. This ain't for me." So as time is going, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm bumping my head. I'm looking at YouTube videos, and I started to feel defeated almost. I told my wife, I'm like, well, maybe if I just get like 10 more, franchise accounts, then, we could, we be where I want to be. And shout out to my wife, man, because straight up, she was like, nope, you ain't gonna get no more franchise. Look how much money, you see all the money that you paying them to do these accounts. You responsible for these, they could take it from you anytime. And it's like, I want what I want. I want it right now, but I know that she's right, so I can't really argue with her. So I just, yeah, you're right, man. So I promise you, man, ain't nothing worse than being stuck, feeling like you're stuck making 30, $40,000 self-employed. Like that's a rough space to be in, man. Like that's a rough box because you have to do it. There's no one you can call on for help. And on top of that, you paying these guys these all these expensive fees and stuff. So when I reached that point where it was like, you know what, getting more accounts isn't an option. Quitting isn't an option. I have to put my head down and I have to seriously focus on how it is I'm going to get to where I want to be from where I am right now. And it's funny because it's funny because like I've always, since I got into, I would probably say maybe 6 months to a year before I got into the franchise, like I would always look up stuff on YouTube, and you were one of the first people that I found, and you always gave really good knowledge, based on your experience. You had more experience than I did, but I would always look at your videos and stuff for inspiration on things to do and what to do. So, once I knew that I just wasn't gonna take no for an answer, I wasn't gonna say that this industry is gonna beat me. I did whatever I could, man. I kicked and scratched and I just did what I could to get out of that space, man, to get out of that box, So I was definitely just determined.
That's what's up, man. So now I want to ask you this because you at that level now where it could go two ways, right? Once you get to round about maybe the 10, 15, 20 something thousand a month, maybe 30,000 a month, somewhere around that area, is that it could go either way. Either you're gonna be working a ton, 80 hours a week, right? And grinding all the time to maintain those numbers, or you're gonna be in a place where you already got a system in place, working a little less. So like I'm trying to figure out, so what is your work schedule like right now?
So right now, you know what? To be honest with you, like I go in and I will check on my staff, make sure they're doing the things that they're supposed to do. If they need anything, if they have anything, I pop in. Say I may pop in at 6 o'clock on one account, and before they get to the next account, I'm already there. And then I'll show up to the last account, at the rest of the night. So I'm doing. I'm playing two different parts. I'm being a manager. Well, three different parts really. I'm playing a manager. I'm playing my wife does a lot of the admin stuff, but I'm the manager. I'm the salesperson. And even though I don't have to, I got to revisit this and see when I'm going to change it. Just recently, I haven't cleaned an account in almost. It's been about a year since I cleaned an account, but I did start doing it. I started back doing one account on Monday. And the only reason why I do it on Monday is because it's the beginning of the week. And to be honest with you, it keeps me humble and it lets me think. It lets the wheels get to moving in my mind, and I'm able to think and strategize and plan. But yeah, I'll do that for maybe about an hour or two on Mondays, and then I don't clean nothing up for the rest of the week.
That's what's up, man. And That's really more like meditation time too. Whenever
Yes.
yep, like I would keep one in the cut that I could just clean here and there and just use it as meditation. I got my earbuds in, especially if it's an after hours account. If it was a daytime account, I probably wouldn't do earbuds because I'm too busy, trying to be customer service. And some people do that, but I don't recommend it honestly. I thought I threw that out there while I was thinking about it. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. I was about to dwell on that more, but I'm gonna move on. So I searched my email right when I was researching the interview.
Mhm.
And I saw that we've been in communication since 2015. This is well
Yeah.
before, because Clean Biz Network didn't actually exist until 2018, end of 2018. But
Yeah.
I was on YouTube, giving advice and stuff. So you reached out to me way back in 2015 to ask for advice. And we've been in communication since then. I didn't realize it at first, but we have. So I remember from the last interview we did together that you said that you bought into another guy's lead generation service before mine.
Yeah.
It didn't go the way that you hoped it would have went. And so what I'm wondering at this point is what made you basically trust another internet guy? Because essentially that's all I am to somebody just looking at me today, get to deal with me or whatever. I'm just another internet guy. So I'm trying to figure out what made you trust me. And then also I want to point out the fact that you started in 2015, I think I started my franchise I started my franchise 2014, you started yours 2015, I think. And you basically been growing with me. So I would franchise, you would franchise. I let the franchise be independent, you let the franchise be independent. So shout out to you, by the way, for actually doing that. Because I always tell people, telling y'all what I'm doing so y'all can keep doing it with anyway. Back to the question. Back to the question. What made you trust the internet guy, right? That after already having a bad experience in the past?
To be honest with you, it was your consistency. It was the consistency in the message that you put across. A lot of times people on the internet, on Monday they doing this, on Tuesday they doing that, on Wednesday you were always really, really consistent. So I was like, man, AJ's pretty much consistent. And the other guy I purchased from, not to say that he wasn't consistent. I would, at that point when I spent with him, I was just looking for something to get me out of the situation I was in. And I don't think CBN was around at the time I spent the money with him. Because if it was, I didn't know about the
it wasn't. I didn't come up with my lead generation years later, yeah.
So I was already in the mindset of, I gotta get out of this. There gotta be a way out of it. And after I spent the money with him, I really didn't put as much. I didn't vet him as well as I probably should have. And then it didn't work out. But then, hey, here's AJ. Now you moved on. I think at this point you were down in, I want to say you were in Jacksonville with the other company. And see, when I found out that CBN came out, I had already watched so many of your videos, and you just were consistent the whole time. I said, wait a minute. I said, okay, I'll spend, $300-400. I don't remember how much it was for these leads to see if they are really what he says they are. I'll spend the money with it. And sure enough, like the first, I want to say the first one I went to, I didn't get the account. The second one I went to, the lady saw me and she was like, "Oh no, we don't need no services. We need no services." Right. But I never once was like, "Oh man, this is funny." I'm like, wait a minute. I paid money to get in front of these people and I'm in front of them. Right. So that right there was gold to me. Like, wait a minute, he said exactly what he said he was gonna do. I said, okay. And I had one more, and the last one that I went to, I got the account. So I'm like, wait a minute. So now I'm really paying attention.
Right.
And then you put out, on the master class, you were saying, hey, you know what? I'll teach you guys how to do this. I said, what? I said, I know that he's he's consistent. Two, he does what he says he's going to do. And then for number three, you're going to teach me how to go and get these clients, get in front of these decision makers. I said, man, go ahead. What's that meme that everyone take my money? Yeah, man. So it was really your message and your consistency, and you did exactly what you said you was going to do. So
That's what's up, man. And the reason why I asked you that too, not just to toot my own horn, but I appreciate that. But no, but really, the reason why I asked you that though, because I know that there's a ton of people, because I was one of them, right? You were one of them. We watching all these YouTubers and you trying to figure out who's real, who ain't, who's program or course or whatever they selling. Somebody's selling something, right? What to buy. And this is what you should look for, things that Marcus just named. And so that's why I wanted to ask you that, so because you a guy who actually bought somebody's system and it actually worked for you. So they can see, you know what I mean? Well, what do you look for when you think about buying somebody's stuff? So that's why I was asking that in particular. So now I'm gonna move on to my question. I gotta ask, but I always ask this towards the end of the interview, which is if somebody's watching this right now, sitting on the sideline, thinking about starting that cleaning company or any business for that matter, but they're scared to make that jump, what could you say to that person?
I would say any big decision in your life, I mean, outside of, no, actually nothing. Any big decision in your life, you're never gonna be ready for. Like you might save the money to buy yourself a house, but you're not gonna be ready for the leak that might come up in the house. You might not be ready for the somebody out cutting the grass and a rock fly in and break the window. Now you aren't thinking about those things. You aren't ready for them, and you never will be. It's like being a father for the first time. I was scared. My friend told me the same thing. You're never gonna be ready to be a dad. In business, you never ever gonna be ready. You can sit on the sidelines and wait until you know what I mean, and grow old, trying to get into the double dutch. Like, oh, should I do it now? Should I do it now? Like you can sit around and wait forever, but you're never gonna be ready. You got to do it. You can't ride a bike by thinking about riding a bike. You got to actually get on it and go. And there's gonna be times when you in business when you're gonna fall down. There's gonna be times in business where you're gonna be discouraged. You know, but where I am now compared to where I started, that line right there, like I was here, now I'm here. And the money that I make right now really isn't a lot of money in my eyes. I don't feel like it's a lot of money. But the learning lessons, the growth is within that line, right? That's where you're gonna grow. That's where you're gonna learn all of your lessons. Like you can't read books and know every aspect of business. You got to be in it. You got to feel it. You got to do it. So if you're on the sideline and you're waiting for the perfect time, like that perfect time is never gonna come. You go, but I will say this: if when you do go into business, don't just quit your job. Don't jump in. Well, if it were me, right, I'm not gonna jump in and quit my business. I don't know what everyone else's situation exactly is, but I would advise for someone who's new to business not to quit your job. That doesn't mean you go into business, half stepping. When I first started, I still had a job, and I had a job for a long time, and I would go to work and I would work 8 hours a day, sometimes 16, sometimes 12 to 16 hours a day, and then get off from the job and then go put the work in for the business because I had a vision, and the only way that my vision was going to become a reality was through execution. And if you're on the sideline, you ain't executing nothing but thoughts and anxiety. That's it. You got to jump in.
That's 100, man. I couldn't say that any better myself, man. And I'm gonna tell you this. So last time I interviewed you, I didn't have this, but I got this new fun thing now I do at the end. It's called the lightning round. So I'm gonna say one word or phrase, and you tell me the first thing that come to your mind. So you ready?
All right, let's get it.
All right, cool. First thing is crypto.
Unsure.
Me too, a little bit.
But look, AJ, I did make some money in crypto, but I made money in crypto and I didn't really know what I was doing. Right. So yeah, I'm unsure.
I think if 80%, if most people were honest, 80% of the people could say the same thing. At least 80. That's probably undershooting it. All right. Favorite sports team?
Raiders, Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay. Family.
Everything.
Right. Top 5 rappers all time.
Give me 1 second. You said top 5 rivals of all time?
Rappers of all time.
Oh, top 5 rappers of all time? Biggie, Pop. I would say Black Thought, Andre 3000. You know who else I like too, man? I really like Big Crit. I do.
Yeah.
He's not popular. He's not popular, and I probably shouldn't put him into my top 5. I'm gonna put him I'm gonna go ahead and say Nipsey, and I'm gonna put Big Crit as an honorable mention. I really like him.
I like that. That's a solid top 5 and an honorable mention though. I just got put on a Big Crit, and I like it. You know, I got him in my playlist for sure. Shout out to Big Crit. All right, cool. Clean Biz Network.
Cleveland Biz Network is an absolute gold mine. It's a gold mine.
That's all right. All right. Law of Attraction.
Underestimated, very real.
Legacy.
Man, I battle with that one. That was a tough one for me for a lot of different reasons. But I would say legacy, foundation.
Okay. I kind of want to talk to you about that more later too, because I'm wondering if that's tough for you for the same reason that it is for me. Because I don't know if it's completely different, but I got a definitely an interesting point of view about it lately compared to what I used to have. Only because the mainstream media is pushing it so much, and so anytime they push something a lot, I always try to research it and look at it from a different perspective. So
Definitely.
we'll talk about that for sure. But anyway, Marcus Crockett, everybody, I appreciate you taking out the time. We feel like we're both looking at our clock, so I got another meeting right after this. But how can we follow your journey?
So what we didn't talk about, man, is you know, me and my because we in Washington, man. I've been here for a long time. It rains a lot, and you know, there's just other things that comes into play. But me and my wife, man, we actually thinking about selling the company and relocating and doing it all over again. So as of right now, like I don't have a YouTube channel. You know, I don't really post too much on my personal social media about businesses or anything like that. But, you know, if we do decide to make this move, I'm going to document the whole thing, like from beginning to end, from absolutely no clients to my goal, you know, if we pull it off, and we're actually supposed to fly out tonight to go visit one of the places that we're thinking about going, but we kind of have to wait a couple weeks. But if I pull it off, my goal is to be at 6 figures within the first 6 to 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna document the whole thing.
You know what, man? That's big too. And shout out to y'all for that. I kind of hope y'all do it just so we can watch that unfold. But you know what? I want to say one thing. First of all, that was one of my questions up here, and I deleted it because I thought the video was going to be too long. So I'm glad you covered it. One of my questions was going to be, what's the future of your company? What's the goal? Will you sell? So you cover that. So I'm glad you brought that up. Then also, let me holler at Sean Richards, man. You know we're trying to get into mergers and acquisitions. So look,
yeah,
we can try that. You know what I mean? Now also, you in there, right? In the group that we're trying to put together.
Yeah, but I saw the post. I'm not 100% sure if I joined the group, but I am interested in it. This is new to me, right? I never sold a company before.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know if we're gonna for sure sell it. I don't know if I want to double the revenue and just put all of the systems in place to run without us. I don't know. You know, this is a weird territory for us.
Absolutely. Well, we'll definitely talk more about it offline, man. But anyway, if y'all want to get in contact with Marcus Crockett, since he didn't give us nothing just yet, join his network for now. And I'm going to put his affiliate link because we do affiliate commissions, and that's not a secret, right? So I'm going to put his affiliate link in the comments under the video if you're looking on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, then go to the YouTube channel and hit subscribe, all right? But anyway, and the reason why I say that, though, I know that was shameless plug, but no, seriously, though, I'm gonna look forward to when this guy does launch his if you decide to do the document and everything. If you do a YouTube channel for that, definitely let me know so I can help you get the word out there, because I'm gonna definitely let people know, because I'm gonna be watching as well, man. So definitely keep us posted on that.
Definitely. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right, Marcus, I appreciate you coming out, man, taking the time. I'll talk to you later, man. Thank you.
No doubt, AJ. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.